Think back to the last time you went to a drugstore. You probably walked past aisles of shampoo and vitamins, grabbed what you needed, checked out, and left. Simple, efficient, forgettable. But imagine if that drugstore had a restaurant inside, not in a corner, not as an afterthought, right in the middle. A long marble counter with spinning stools, a menu written in chalk, the smell of grilled cheese and vanilla syrup filling the air, and teenagers crowded around, laughing and sharing milkshakes with 2 straws. That was normal once. The drugstore wasn't just a place to pick up prescriptions. It was the center of social life. The soda fountain was where you went on dates, where you met friends after school, where you celebrated or drowned your sorrows in a hot fudge sundae. It wasn't just about ice cream. It was about being seen, being part of the neighborhood, having a place that was yours. So what happened? How did we go from marble counters and soda jerks to self-checkout and hand sanitizer dispensers? And what did we lose when the soda fountain disappeared? Let's go back to when drugstores were gathering places, not just pit stops. The drugstore soda fountain started in the late 1800s. Pharmacies sold carbonated water as medicine. People believed fizzy drinks could cure everything from headaches to stomach problems, so druggists installed soda fountains right at the counter, mixing carbonated water with flavored syrups. The fountain itself was a work of art. Gleaming marble countertops, cold to the touch even on summer days. Chrome dispensers lined up like soldiers. Glass jars filled with maraschino cherries and crushed nuts. Everything polished until it reflected the overhead lights. Behind the counter stood the soda jerk, usually a teenage boy in a white paper hat and black bow tie. He wasn't just making drinks, he was performing. Pulling the soda tap with a sharp jerk, tossing ice cream scoops into the air, mixing malteds with flair that made it look easy. The menu was simple but specific. A chocolate phosphate, a cherry Coke, a lime Ricky, an egg cream that had neither eggs nor cream. Each drink had its own recipe, its own technique, its own little secrets passed down from one soda jerk to the next. The stools were the best part. Round, padded seats that spun. You could sit facing the counter or spin around to face your friends. Kids would spin until they got dizzy. Adults would spin just enough to feel young again. And the sounds. The hiss of carbonated water hitting the glass. The clink of the long spoon stirring. The scrape of the ice cream scoop against the metal tub. The chatter of a dozen conversations happening at once. It all blended into this warm buzz that meant you were somewhere people wanted to be. Saturday afternoons, the soda fountain would fill up with high school kids. Girls in poodle skirts and saddle shoes, boys with slicked hair and rolled-up jeans. They'd order one milkshake and make it last an hour, passing it back and forth, 2 straws meeting in the middle. The drugstore owner didn't mind. He knew those kids would buy other things. A magazine, some candy, and more importantly, they'd come back when they needed real medicine. The soda fountain wasn't just profit. It was community building. Adults came too. Business meetings happened over coffee at the counter. Mothers would bring toddlers for ice cream cones after doctor appointments. Elderly couples would share a sundae, the same order they'd been getting for 30 years. The soda jerk knew everyone. He knew Mrs. Henderson took her coffee black with 1 sugar. He knew Tommy always ordered chocolate malts, so thick the straw stood straight up. He knew which couples were on first dates and which were celebrating anniversaries. Summer was peak season. When it hit 90 degrees and nobody had air conditioning, the drugstore became a refuge. The marble counter was cool. The ceiling fans turned slowly, and an ice cream soda could make you forget the heat for 20 blissful minutes. Popular orders had nicknames that sound strange now. A black cow was a root beer float. A brown cow used cola instead. A purple cow had grape soda. These weren't official names on menus. They were part of the language of the fountain, passed from customer to soda jerk and back again. Making a proper ice cream soda was an art. First, flavored syrup in the bottom of a tall glass. Then a scoop of ice cream. Then carbonated water, poured slowly so it foamed up just right. The ice cream and soda would swirl together, creating this perfect, creamy fizz. Done wrong, it was just ice cream floating in soda water. Done right, it was magic. The prices were almost nothing by today's standards. A nickel for a cherry Coke, 10 cents for an ice cream sundae. A quarter would buy you a deluxe banana split with 3 scoops and all the toppings. Kids could save their allowance and feel rich. But it wasn't really about the ice cream. It was about the ritual. Walking into the drugstore, climbing onto that spinning stool, watching the soda jerk make your drink right in front of you, taking that first sip through a paper straw, feeling like you belonged somewhere. The decline started quietly. Fast food restaurants began spreading in the 1950s and 60s. They were faster, cheaper to operate. They had parking lots. You didn't have to get out of your car. Drugstore chains started cutting costs. Soda fountains took up valuable retail space. They required staff, fresh ingredients, daily cleaning. The profit margins weren't high enough to justify it anymore. One by one, the fountains were removed, ripped out and replaced with more shelves. Some small-town drugstores held on longer. The owners knew the fountain was more than revenue. It was the soul of the store. But economics won. By the 1970s, soda fountains were rare. By the 1980s, they were novelties. By the 1990s, they were memories. A few vintage diners kept the tradition alive. Some old drugstores in small towns maintained their fountains as tourist attractions. You can still find them if you look hard enough, but it's not the same. It's nostalgia, not necessity. It's something you visit, not something you live. Today's drugstores are different. Bright fluorescent lights, aisles organized by category, self-checkout kiosks, pharmacy counter in the back. Everything designed for efficiency. Get in, get what you need, get out. Nobody lingers. Nobody spins on a stool and laughs with friends. Nobody orders a cherry phosphate and takes their time drinking it. The drugstore isn't a gathering place anymore. It's a transaction. We gained convenience. Drugstores are open 24 hours now. You can get anything delivered. Prescriptions are ready in minutes. Everything is faster, cleaner, more efficient. But we lost something too. We lost the third place. That space between home and work where community happened organically. Where you ran into neighbors and caught up. Where teenagers had somewhere to be besides school or home. Where elderly people could sit and feel connected. The soda fountain wasn't just about ice cream and fizzy drinks. It was about belonging, about knowing and being known, about having a place that was part of your daily rhythm. You can't download that. You can't get it delivered. You can't make it efficient. The marble counters are gone. The soda jerks are gone. The spinning stools and the cherry phosphates and the Saturday afternoon crowds are gone. But the people who remember them still light up when they talk about it. That sparkle in their eyes when they describe the taste of a proper ice cream soda. The way their voice gets soft when they remember their first date at the drugstore counter. Maybe that's what we really lost. Not just a place, but a feeling. The feeling that your neighborhood had spaces designed for nothing but being together. No agenda, no hurry, just being. The soda fountain is history now, but it's the kind of history worth remembering, worth telling the next generation about, worth honoring for what it represented. Because efficiency isn't everything. Sometimes the best things in life are the ones that make you slow down, spin on a stool, and take your time enjoying something sweet.